What's up, everybody? Another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you hot and live. Still dealing with the circle light reflection in my eye. Uh, Took a little week off. Unfortunately, this is just look good before look good before I started. Now it looks trash. Yeah. So spent a week in New Jersey, family and friends galore. Got to golf a bunch. Think I golfed three separate times with the driving range. Some stuff to cover over there. Some fatal flaw that I made, a miscalculation in math. We'll get to that later, but last week or 2 weeks ago, right before I did one, right after I did it, they had the whole missing submarine thing came out, and a couple things that really fucked up about that. Obviously, you saw the lack of attention to detail on that ship, and you got people spending all this money and they're going out with a little submarine that's essentially controlled by a GameCube controller, which really brought me to my first question of the day, which was, what was the greatest video game controller of all time? When I saw that one, I originally thought of the GameCube controller, but then I was like, the first fat Xbox controller, and then they had the small little mini one that came out. N64, truly, but I will try not to call them out on that. So I would have designated controllers for certain friends if they were coming over. I'd make sure that we had the shitty controller that was beat down for their use, and if we had the more gentle friends, they would get the more mint condition controllers, if you will. So I don't know, just a little thing that was on my mind. Rest in peace to all those people. You saw the one guy forced his son to go with him, and they both ended up losing their lives. And on one hand, he's being a good son, but he doesn't get to live out his life that his dad was building for him. So shitty times. Last week I was talking how got to New Jersey and got there on Friday. Had my one of my all time bestest of friends, Brian, picked me up from the airport. Um, really putting on his driving skills. We had and his packing skills. We had my golf clubs, my golf bag, my luggage bag, a book bag, and he was driving a little Porsche. We managed to fit everything in there and skedaddle right onto his dad's house down in Brigantine, which is definitely one of my home away from homes growing up. We would a couple days in the summer, a weekend in the summer, whatever the case may be. My parents and I would, and my brother and sister, we would go down there and stay with the Lembos for a few days and just really live it up. Just all they were two houses away from the beach, so we would bring kayaks and surfboards, boogie boards, and bocce ball, everything you can imagine. So the memories created with that family, and then my other like growing up, I had two really close buddies, and they both ended up moving, like getting beach houses down in Brigantine. Now they both live down there. Well, one of them does, yeah, whatever. Just so many good memories, and essentially we went to his dad's house first, Brian's dad's house, who had torn down the whole property and rebuilt just an absolute mega mansion, just a beautiful, beautiful house, and get the weird little house guests like me scurrying in right away. Just did provide him with some fresh Florida mangoes that were picked that day or the day before, but I'm walking around just seeing a house with just so many memories, but it's unrecognizable, so it's kind of weird. Um, Really, the week was like based around going down for the weekend to celebrate my buddy Matty, who's getting married. I'm going to be in his wedding, thank God. To his beautiful bride Heather, and we're going to be doing that in September. So this was kind of like our bachelor party, if you will. And I don't really like that term bachelor party because whenever I think of it, I don't know how many people are the same way, but you immediately think of like, the American Pies or just the strip clubs or hosting these crazy parties with these hired guns coming in for pleasure. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed hanging out with the boys, going out to eat Friday night, just me, Maddie, and Brian, just a really nice fancy restaurant. Came home and just sat with Brian's older brother Matt, who's one of my lifelong dear friends. Just us four just sat around, talked for hours until bedtime. Woke up the next morning, went on a boat ride, cooked some breakfast at the house, played some 18 holes of golf with the whole wedding party, which was just incredible memories you never forget. I was pleasure to have Mr. Matt Lembo playing along with me, and he was because we split into groups of two groups of three, and my group, me, Matt, and Ryan, who was the bride's brother, we were in the car, and Matt has some shoulder issues, and I was gonna say fibromyalgia, but it's definitely not that. I forget what his thing was. Definitely not fibromyalgia, but he was essentially only like puttable or little chips. So we'd be at like the tee, I'd be treating him like my caddy. He was driving me around. I would ask for clubs, and I'd like point to the clubs or do the double clap. And we pulled up to a hole that had water, and he wasn't playing. I gave him my ball grabber, made him go fetch the ball. So it's just a beautiful day. Ended up having some good shots, some not so good shots, and just living the golf life. Having great moments, having horrible moments, living for that one that you can try to replicate next time. So that weekend was just a dream, getting to hang out. Two of my best friends for over 20 years, and then meeting a couple new guys, and like how I was saying, the bachelor party thing's overrated. Like to me, just it's not telling people how to do their bachelor parties, but like if you're hanging out with your friends, you're doing things that you all enjoy, especially if the man who's getting married, if we're doing things like, for example, Saturday we woke up, we went to Maddie's house, who was the groom to be, and he's a fitness freak, he's an animal, he's in crazy shape, and he's got a little room in his house dedicated to cardio, just and grinding. So we had one of those treadmills that's got like the little divot in the middle. So it was really first time I ever rode on one or ran on one of those. A row machine, a stationary bike, and then just a standing spot for air squats. And we were just doing cycles of that, which I've never done, like workouts like that where you jump from station to station. It was crazy. And obviously, I'm a little bit out of shape, not being able to do jiu-jitsu for going on 4 to 5 months now with this. I mean, this thing, it's healing, I guess, but it's just this giant legion on my face now. I'm not even gonna try to make it visible, but it smells like fucking hell. I mean, I don't. It's just sorry, I shouldn't have even said it, but it's disgusting, and I keep getting every time I take a sip of my liquid IV or my water. I'm just getting a sip or a whiff of that fucking funky shit. And got my follow up tomorrow with the derma, so praying for the best, praying for the best. Um, so yeah, like we woke up, like I said, we cooked some breakfast, we worked out, we did an ice bath. Each of us did an ice bath. Um, Went out on a boat for a couple hours. I ended up getting sunburnt over the next 2 days, that day and the next day really badly, and live in Florida with crazy sun exposure, and then I go to New Jersey and I get sunburnt, come back peeling and just looking like a damn mess. It's really been a rough couple months for your boy right now. He's dealing with this skin infection. He's just gaining weight. He's just disgusting. Good news is I am back to fully cooking back to my own, meals and not having to rely so much on getting takeout and stuff from the post hurricane. So there's that. The kitchen's coming back together. We're making some progress, but yeah, the weekend in Brigantine, spent Friday and Saturday there. Sunday morning, Brian was gracious enough to drive me to. Oh, by the way, real quick, just my friend Maddie's got this incredible friend named Andy who I'm praying in a few months from now, guys, we're gonna get him to do a guest spot on this podcast. Saved him in my phone as Andy, the most interesting man in the world. This gentleman, not only the chicken that we cook for dinner after golf at home, he raised them, he slaughtered them, he cut them up. He like those are his chickens. Uh, the guy's just we ate his eggs for breakfast. Like the guy is just so fascinating. I come to find out he's a sculptor. The whole running joke all day was every time I'd find out more about him, I would just like shake my head and be like, this guy's unbelievable. And Brian floated the idea of him as a podcast guest, and I was like, bro, that was my first thought, but he gets some intimidating big fish out there. You don't want to chase them away too quickly. So we're gonna work on that for sure. And the guest thing is something I've been trying to get back on, but like I said, this last few months has certainly been a little transitionary period, and yeah, I'm transitioning, and just trying to get back to normal. I would love to start interviewing randos again, talking about the Twilight movies and rap albums on SoundCloud, and but for now, we're just gonna get some solo garbage and me litter the airwaves with my junk. Sunday went to Wildwood, just boat ride with the Nardies, docked the boat up, sat in an inner tube for like 3 hours, listened to live music. Jersey Boys just playing some classic rock. So life was really good. Went golfing on Monday, golfing on Tuesday, which brings me to Tuesday was a really good day. Uh, Other than the way it ended, it was going really well. We early tea time with you know two of my other dearest friends, Jason and Sharif. I've known for don't even know how Jason since high school, and Sharif I've been friends with since we'll call it 6.5 grade because we weren't friends in sixth grade. We were friends in seventh grade, but like towards the end of sixth grade, I think we became friends. So we'll say like 6.5, 6.555. Um, Went golfing with them at Ramblewood. They were both working that day, so we had to do just 9 holes. But my God, was the 9 holes with them just an absolute treat and a joy. My one friend Jason's one of those guys who's got a really good game, got really good mechanics, but tends to think he's a little how do you say better than he is. I was trying to be a cool friend and get some cool photos of him, candid photos of him taking backswings, and he would just like if he saw me, he was probably get out of my line of sight, and it was great. Still learning golf, still learning the etiquette, and I've had a couple times so far where people like let me paint the picture here. If I'm playing with three buddies, so it's four of us playing, and then there's a solo or a twosome behind us, and I notice they're 2 or 3 holes, they're right on our tails, nipping at our heels right away. You go up to them and say, "Hey, you guys want to play through?" And you let them play through. Like we did it in Brigantine. It's just something you do. So the four of us are playing. Nobody's behind us. We're having a great pace. Nobody in front of us. Nobody behind us. Just the golfer's dream, right? Not having to worry about anxiety, like nothing, none of that. You just get to play. These three medium husky ladies, if you will, pretty beefy, um, are starting to nip at our heels for about a hole, and then after that hole, they're playing up us pretty aggressively, and then they get to the next hole and they drive up real quick on me, and they're like, now keep in mind it's Jason and Sharif who are more seasoned veterans, a little bit further ahead of us in their cart, and it's me and my nephew Bobby in my cart, and I'm driving, being cool as shit, fresh off a little bubbler hit that Sharif had brought, so just great, legally in New Jersey you can dabble. And the day before we were in Margate or Brigantine, and I was hitting my little weed pen. I was trying to offer it to one of my buds, and he was like, "Yeah, just careful. I don't want." Because one of the guys is a cop. I'm like, "Bro, it's legal in New Jersey, and I don't even live there." But it's just funny how you get indoctrinated into a certain way of thinking and living. And we grew up in New Jersey where it was so strict our whole life, and now it's just out there for anyone. So yeah, these three women come up behind me like, "Hey, just so you guys know, there's a women's tournament behind you, so we should probably play through so they're not gonna be on your heels." And I'm like, "What?" So I'm just like, "Okay, play through, like no problem." But then like we're midway through the hole, so we're like finishing the hole, and then my thought was like, "Okay, now we pull over the side, let them play, and then play through." Um, they ended up just like going to the next hole. I was like, "Whatever, go." So not really sure why I brought that up, but I wasn't really sure how to handle it either. But anyway, the day was going great. Everything was going to plan. I went golfing. And on the way home, I hit Manhattan Bagel for some bagels, a breakfast sandwich. I went to a or a snowboard shop where I was able to get new bindings for my board, new boots for my board, get my board waxed, sharp, and detailed, and get it sent out. And then, or not sent out, do it at the store, and then my brother-in-law is going to pick it up. So then, come January, going to Park City. I can just ship my board from New Jersey with them, meet them there from Florida, and 6, 7 days of paradise skiing. So can't wait for that. But yeah, so got that on the way home. I went and stopped at my all-time favorite deli, Chick's Deli, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Greatest spot ever. No, not really any words for that place. But the day before that, I had gotten a cheesesteak from Russo's, which is a famous spot in Wildwood. It's a little like corner store, shop, deli, market, everything you can imagine, and cash only. So we're getting ready to drive home from Wildwood to Winona because that's it was Brigantine to Wildwood to Winona. Um, so we're just thinking like I'm gonna want food on the way home. We just go off that any day anything. I don't want to wait an hour in the car and then go back and then not have. So I get a 22-inch cheesesteak. Ate about 17 to 19 inches of that bad boy, and that was on Monday, and then Tuesday I go golfing morning. Great Manhattan bagel, Chick's Deli, another cheesesteak down the hatch. Just doing the damn thing. So we're sitting on the couch. I'm getting my sister and the family into watching a Leonard Skinner music documentary. We're just chilling, relaxing. Um, and I remember I brought a bag of edibles with me from Florida that I had gotten in New Jersey. So it's full circle of life. I wanted to pay tribute to the grounds where I got them on, so I figured I'd eat a few. And funny little connection to that is I thought that I was eating ones that I ate at a UFC event like 2 months ago, where I ate a full bag and I was perfect. I wasn't wonked out too bad, but I was feeling a little funky, enough to get me through a long UFC event with a nice little buzz on. So take a bag of the cherry lime, just start popping them away, right? And yeah, just 15 in a bag, and they're a little bit stronger than your normal, 1s and 5 milligrams. So it's not like I blacked out and don't remember anything, but boy, did that day go from really good to something. Um, One of the last things I remember is just me laying on their couch towards watching the TV, and my nephew's in the corner seat right behind me, and he just sees me nibbling on shit. He's like, "What are you munching on, Uncle Frank?" And I just like jokingly, like I'm already, feeling a little something. And I just turned my head, I'm like, "Don't worry about it," and just kind of snapped at him and just giggled afterwards, obviously. And then maybe he should have worried about it. I proceeded to eat a full bag, again mistakenly identifying them as another one, and boy did we go for a ride. I mean I can walk you guys through it. It's pretty childish and pathetic, but let's go. So I really started feeling it, kicking it in when I guess my sister went up to do something. My brother-in-law was umpiring, so it was just me and my niece Olivia chilling downstairs, and this family's like all obsessed with their two rabbits, so they have like all bunny themed shit around the house. And I don't know, I went to go in the bathroom, take a hot little piddle, and just like washed my hands and turned. And while I was in the bathroom, I heard my niece like playing with the rabbits and just like talking in bunny talk, as I call it, like not saying words, but just like, and just like making noises and make the bunnies interact. And I just fucking lost it. I was in the bathroom. I just started like dying laughing. Um, then I go to like watch, like I'm literally listening to her say all this because I just had like a heightened sense of hearing. Like it was insane. Like I could hear every little thing she was saying, even though it was all the way in the bathroom and it was all to the rabbit. I was crying, laughing, and then I turned to wash my hands, and I'm wiping my hands with like Peter Cottontail towels, which just I think it was the beginning of the end. Seeing these bunny towels. So I go out and like go sit next to her, and I just like start dying laughing, like I can't. She's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Oh no." Uh, don't really remember exactly what happened next, but I remember, I'm getting a little tired. I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go try to go to bed." I could feel it. I mean, the way I was looking, supposedly my sister took a picture of me, and I was just like ghost white, just like laying asleep on the couch, just looked like a dead corpse, and I guess my thought was like maybe if I just go force myself to try to lay down, I'll fall asleep. Um, no, did not happen. So I had, man, I went downstairs because when I go and stay with my sister, I have like the basement I stay in. It's got a big, beautiful bed. It's got its own bathroom, shower. It's got the works. What it doesn't have is good toilet paper, a bidet, a fan, all the things you need for your home field advantage when you're getting really sick. Apropos to be recording it now because 4th of July, I just still getting over a little stomach bug, and I was up all night, sick as a dog. But I got the bidet, I got the wipes, I got the big trash can, I got the fan. Everything's cool. We're home field. When you're traveling on the road, you don't have such luxuries. It can be quite a struggle. And I meant to get into this whole thing when Brigantine, I was having like panic attacks because I don't have enough ice or filtered water, and I didn't bring a big enough Yeti, so I was just constantly dehydrated the couple days I was there. And I'm so used to like having this with me in every restaurant I go. It's just full of ice and water, and then like a backup usually. When I traveled this time, I made a mistake not doing it, and it's just funny because the amount of golfing I was doing this time, you would think I would be bringing more water than normal. Nope, didn't. Um, so yeah, I go downstairs and I'm just feeling it. Like I'm laying in bed for 25, 30 minutes and I just get up and I take one. Yeah, and it was a big one. It was gross. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's fine. Um, no, it's not. I proceed to just get like I'm dealing with the spins. Like I can't even tell you what's going on now. I am just so fucked up. Um, it gets to the point where I'm sorry if this is gross, but we gotta do it. The yak was just it was a lot. It was a lot in the toilet after luckily I was able to get up and do the old number two stance of the throw up stance, which has become a little too frequent of a problem in my life. Taking care of your business and then having to yak. It's far from ideal. We're 12 hours off the last episode. This one is a sickness now, not related to an edible overdose. Thank God. So, I panic because I feel like I'm about to get sick again, and I'm flushing the toilet and no dice. So I run up to run up. That's hilarious. That's a hilarious exaggeration. I stumble up the staircases, barely making it, and I just see her on the couch watching her little reality TV, hitting her little weed pens, and I'm like, I need a plunger. And she didn't hear like I guess she didn't have one, so I just proceed again. I'm like still in the right state of mind, I feel like, because I knew I was getting sick downstairs, so I walk upstairs to go outside because I don't want to proceed to be sick downstairs. Where you know what I mean. Long story short, she thinks the toilet's clogged because I tell her that. Her husband goes down. My brother-in-law, he flushes it one time, no problem. So I guess I didn't wait long enough. I proceed to go out front and then walk around the garage, and I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours of me just like dry heaving, puking, hallucinating beyond belief. This is coming from a guy that went months and months and months and years of, never really trying edibles, never doing them, and then getting a few from people. And, oh, 10 milligrams will get you. I don't know, 20, nope, 30, nothing. So I go up to 100 milligrams, still don't feel anything. I'm like, maybe these just aren't for me. I got a little wild and ate a bunch, and now I realize that they could definitely affect me. And definitely want to take it slow, like people said. Luckily, I have my sister caring for me. I insist that I would have been fine, but she was there to, get me like a liquid IV, which, I put in a water bottle, took one sip of it, and threw the whole thing up instantly. My problem was like, this is just like the worst edible experience ever. I was like, if I had my eyes open, I was so dizzy and I just need to throw up. And if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't get dizzy, but then I would start hallucinating. Oh my God, I can't even tell you what I was hallucinating because it was fucking vivid. It was crazy and it was uncontrollable. Not fun. Don't really want to have that kind of experience again. But I just find it funny, I'm all these times hanging out with family and everything. I'm never the one that like got too fucked up or drunk or anything. Where everyone else has had their moments, and this is my one time where I was just exploring the dark side of the moon, I guess, and got a little overzealous and I told my mom who listens to this podcast, I'm like, do not listen to this episode. It's just talking about me overdosing on weed edibles and not great. So yeah, I puked for 2 hours straight, just insanely dehydrated. Every time I try to drink, I would throw up, which I still feel like this is part of the stomach bug that I got from my brother-in-law. It's not strictly the weed edibles, but like I ate two cheesesteaks. I ate like just a lot of stuff, and yeah, it was wild. Finally, like she I consider myself such a good uncle and a loving uncle and caring about my four nieces and nephews and now my new fifth nephew, whatever, five total. And my nephew Bobby and I are really close and he saw me in a light that probably was a little A little alarming, but Uncle Frank's back. He's all good. Everything's fine. Just one night of experimenting, but I remember after I was outside for the whole time, felt like I was done being super. I was so scared to go back inside. She's like, "Well, what do you worry?" I'm like, "I don't want to get sick in the house." What I kept forgetting was like I already threw up everything I had, so now I was just throwing up like bile and water and shit. So it wasn't gonna. I was worried about, you know. So I'm a tremendous house guest at the bottom of the day. I leave your house, I strip the bed, I take care of my deeds, and try not to leave much of a trail. But yeah, that was one for the books. Definitely a learning experience. Seems now I go to Winona and I just get wildly ill, but no one I'd rather be ill around than the Nardi family. But we're gonna have to take some measures, I think, for my next visit to get a bidet installed in that bottom bathroom because this family insists on using like that elementary school toilet paper that's just a cheap one ply, rougher than fucking hell, and it's just not conducive to a bad one. And we're gonna take matters into our own hands. So yeah, got back from Florida, went golfing right away, just trying to get improve. Didn't play so great, went to driving range, whatever. Getting better every day. I'm hoping to go tomorrow. Got the week off from work, 4th of July week. Yeah, I mean, not much going on other than I get home, my brother's away in Germany. Had a dog sitter. Dog sitter ended up sneaking a man into the house of his. Him and his fiance confronted that girl on it. She proceeded to just like pack her paw and go home. As the kids say, she got called out in a shady, fucking pathetic lie, bringing some guy over to the house that nobody at the house knows. You know, not part of the agreement. Didn't ask permission, nothing. So spent the last couple days going over to my brother's house like 5 times a day. 10-15 minute drive, no big deal. Taking care of the pups. Um, been on a major reading binge lately. Just started, finished The Bear naturally, season 2 on Hulu. I talked about that last year when it debuted. If you haven't watched it yet, I still highly recommend it, especially if you're a former service member like me. Not stolen valor, not army or anything like that. Working in the service industry. It's a tremendous show on Hulu. It's just a really good insight into the chef lifestyle, the kitchen lifestyle, all that stuff. And so I finished We Own the City, a book I was portrayed into a television show on HBO. Read the book, and then I went over to Anthony Bourdain's book, which I just started. And incredible, loving it. In another life, I really wish I could have been bred to not care about sports and not be so weirdly wired. And I could have been a crazy cokehead and a chef and an alcoholic, and really lived up that lifestyle. One of my original dream guests on the show. Um, Got to make it happen one day, but it's Chef John. He anyone who lives in Florida, restaurant I used to work at called Gather. He's the head chef. I mean, there's two chefs that own the restaurant, but then he's like the guy who runs it. That and the next door, which is the place, a pasta restaurant next door. He's a fucking culinary genius, and my dream is the one day have a space to be able to host him comfortably, make him a couple of his classic Moscow mules with the Grey Goose, and just shoot the shit for a little bit. He's got he's from Louisiana, military guy, just a culinary genius. Love to talk to him, and I gave him. He's one of the first recipients of the Verbal Garbage T-shirt, so it was an honor, John. You're the man, and I look forward to having a conversation with you one day. But yeah, that chef's lifestyle is like the total opposite of what I am. Like I don't really like drinking. I say I don't like doing drugs, but here I just had a 10-minute story about me overdosing on weed edibles. Not really a night hawk. I like being in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, which the fucking, I love 4th of July, but my God, with these fireworks, guys, I'll admit I'm in bed a little early. I was getting up early the next day to go out on the links, but I'm in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and just for hours upon hours, I hear these fireworks. This is how I'm just an old. I'm not gonna say miserable fuck because I ain't miserable, but like an old crotchety man, like just turned into that get off my lawn guy because the fireworks are just going off throughout, and I'm just getting so mad. I end up getting like sick. So I'm up all hours of the night. 4:30 in the morning. I'm still hearing the fireworks go off. I'm like, is it enough yet? Like, how much do we really need to do? Big weekend in the UFC coming up. UFC 290. Couple title fights. We got the Pantoja Moreno fight. We got the Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez fight. We got the Whitaker Dricus Duplessis, whatever. Obviously, got my boy Nico Price fighting the legend Robbie Lawler. Huge opportunity for Nico. Um, tough division, no easy fights, but it's pretty awesome. He's getting a lot of these high profile names recently to fight, and UFC, say what you want about their pay structure, but they know they're entertaining guys they got, and they make sure to give them high status on the card. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's the last prelim, which is usually like one of the more high profile fights of the night, just because it's like the last fight before it goes to pay per view. It's usually peak audience drawing, so the world's gonna be watching Nico. Talked about my little shit on my face that I got from jiu-jitsu. Still have not been able to go back. It's just a giant like facial crust pie at this point. Stinky pussy mess. Follow up appointment tomorrow. We're gonna see what happens. Really excited for those fights. Past weekend there was some really good fights. Sean Strickland doing the damn thing again. It's his second fight in a row where he's been the underdog against a high profile up and coming guy. Not I shouldn't say high profile, low profile, very dangerous kind of guy. The type of dude that nobody wants to fight because not a lot of people know their name, but they're tough. So it's like a lose lose where you beat a guy that not a lot of people know, or you lose to a guy that not a lot of people. You know what I mean? So but Strickland, this is two in a row now where he's taken out. He just beat Abu Usmagomedov, and right before that, I keep forgetting who it was, but it was another stud, uh, Mo some Mazvar Imodine or something like that, Imaev, something like that. But um, Strickland, say what you want about him, he's a little reckless on the mic and he's a little crazy, but he keeps bailing the UFC out. You know, main eventing tons of cards. He got poked in the eye really badly in this fight. Could have easily taken the easy way out and said, you know, I can't continue, I can't see, which is probably a real thing. Looked a little rough in the first round, but stayed behind that jab, just dominated the guy, gassed him out, and just beat the shit out of him. So, uh, fun to see. I like seeing different matchups at the championship level of that weight class. It's getting a little stale as he's pretty much run through everyone. So, I think Strickland's pretty much at the point now where he can get a title shot or one fight away. A little bit of NBA news. You see these contracts are going fucking hog wild. What are the Sixers going to do? There's rumors about Dame, but Dame's saying he wants to go to Miami. Miami or bust. Miami doesn't really have a trade package. It's really suitable. Sixers are saying Tyrese Maxey's untouchable. Harden, I don't know. I'd kind of like to see them move on from him. Who are they going to get to replace him? Not really anyone right now, but do I want to be paying $33 to $36 million a year for a guy that it's very well known what he is and what he's going to do at this point. So I don't know, a little tricky. Other than that, yeah, I just wanted to get on here and force myself to get one going before a nice stretch of the next 4 days of golfing probably every day and trying to get better. So until then, verbal garbage out. Try to get back to you guys Tuesday and continue to spread the word. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July and those fucking fireworks. Let's chill out, all right? Peace.